Someone says something that bothers you, your chest tightens. Your mind starts building a response. Your body prepares for confrontation. And then you do what most people do. You react. You defend. You explain. You attack back. And 5 minutes later, you realize you just handed them your piece. For what? For words? For someone else's moment of chaos? For absolutely nothing. Here's what most people never understand. You are not obligated to react. Not to their anger, not to their provocation, not to their need for your attention. They can throw it, you don't have to catch it. The trap. Most people think reacting is strength. Someone disrespects you, you fire back. That's standing up for yourself, right? Someone questions you, you defend immediately. That's protecting your reputation. Someone tries to provoke you, you engage. That's not being weak. But here's the truth. That's not strength. That's being controlled. Because the moment you react, you've given them exactly what they wanted. Your attention, your energy, your emotional state. They said 5 words, and you spent the next hour replaying it in your head. They made one comment, and you lost your entire afternoon. Who's in control there? Not you. There's an old idea that the first person to get angry in an argument is the first person to lose. Not because anger is wrong, but because anger means you've been pulled out of your center. You're no longer responding from clarity, you're reacting from emotion. And when you react from emotion, you make mistakes. You say things you regret. You escalate situations that didn't need to escalate. You damage relationships over moments that won't matter next week. All because you thought you had to respond. All because you forgot you always have a choice. The power of the pause. Here's what changes everything. The pause. Someone says something provocative, and instead of reacting, you pause. You feel the urge rising, the need to defend, the need to correct, the need to win, and you let it sit just for 3 seconds. In those 3 seconds, something shifts. The emotion loses its grip, the clarity returns, and you realize this isn't worth it. This person, this comment, this moment, it's not worth your peace. One of the Stoics kept reminding himself, when something happens, ask, is this something I can control? And if the answer is no, let it go. You can't control what people say. You can't control how they see you. You can't control their mood, their opinion, their need for your attention. They can throw it, you don't have to catch it. What silence does. Silence is a weapon most people don't know how to use. When you don't react, you create a void, and voids make people uncomfortable. They start second-guessing, they start over-explaining, they start revealing more than they intended, because they expected you to fight, and you didn't. You just stayed still. And in that stillness, you see everything. You see the insecurity behind the insult. You see the pain behind the provocation. You see that it was never really about you. It was about them, projecting, reacting, trying to pull someone else into their chaos. But you didn't go. And here's what happens next. They move on. Because people who provoke only have power over people who react. If you don't react, they have nothing. No fuel, no fight, no control. One of the old philosophers said, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Not matching their energy, not stooping to their level, just staying calm, staying clear, staying you. That's the real victory. Now let me be clear, this isn't about being passive. There are moments when you should respond, when boundaries need to be set, when something truly matters. But here's the difference. A response comes from clarity. A reaction comes from emotion. A response is chosen. A reaction is automatic. A response serves you. A reaction serves them. So before you speak, ask yourself, is this about protecting something that matters, or is this about ego? Is this going to improve the situation or just escalate it? Is this the hill I want to die on, or is this something I can let go? Most of the time, it's the latter. Most of the time, the strongest thing you can do is nothing. Not because you're weak, because you're wise. Wise people know when to engage and when to walk away. Foolish people react to everything and wonder why they're always exhausted. Here's what happens when you stop reacting to everything. You get your energy back. All those hours spent replaying conversations, all that mental energy spent defending yourself to people who don't matter, all that emotional weight you carried, it disappears because you're no longer giving it power. You're no longer letting every comment, every slight, every provocation rent space in your head. And suddenly, you're lighter. Not because your life got easier, because you stopped making it harder. There's a concept from the old teachings that you're like a cliff against the waves. The waves crash, the waves rage, the waves try to break you. But the cliff just stands, unmoved. Not because it's fighting the waves, because it's solid. And when you stop reacting, you become that cliff. People can say what they want, do what they want, try to provoke you however they want, and you just stay solid. Not cold, not closed, just unshaken. Because you've realized their chaos doesn't have to become yours. Their anger doesn't have to become yours. Their need for conflict doesn't have to become yours. You can just let it be theirs and walk away with your peace. You are not obligated to react. Not to every comment, not to every provocation, not to every person who tries to pull you into their drama. They can throw it. You don't have to catch it. They can try to provoke you. You don't have to engage. They can need your reaction. You don't have to give it. Because reacting doesn't make you strong. It makes you controlled. Real strength is the pause, the choice, the calm refusal to hand over your peace. Most people will spend their entire lives reacting, defending, explaining, fighting battles that don't matter. But not you. You understand now that silence is power, that stillness is strength, that keeping your peace is the real victory. So the next time someone tries to pull you in, remember, you always have a choice. You are not obligated to react. And that choice, that freedom, that's yours. Keep it.